Theater Max. How many of you come to every single auction that I've done so far? Did you guys notice?
The stateroom I am staying in has a garden view, and this room can house up to 3 people. It is also much cheaper than an ocean view room. And then if we look out the window, we can see we get a wonderful view of the most unaffordable places to shop, but the view of the garden is very nice with plenty of sunlight to wake up to. Now, having a quick look at the bathroom, it is fairly small, but large enough for me where nothing really got in the way. One thing to note is to make sure that you let the attendant clean your room, because every day you get this adorable work of art. And if you want to learn on how to make these animals, you can actually book lessons on the ship on how to make them. Now, to make sure that you don't get fat on the cruise, make sure you hop into the fitness center, get some exercise, build that muscle. I found pretty much every single equipment that I need on this ship. I just wish that they had a better squat rack. That was really my only criticisms. And they also have some towels for you to use as well. I also did visit the spa on this cruise ship, but I did not think it was worth the money because you are required to wear a swimsuit because they are not gender separated. There is also a running track. This is where the lifeboats are located as well. And if you make it all the way to the back of the ship, you can see some really nice blue waves that the ship makes itself. This track is accessible through the fitness center or through the main deck. And guys, please, if you take anything from this video, make sure you wave at the sensor to lock the door. There are actually no physical locks, but when you wave and once you see the sensor turn red, it actually just prevents the door from moving forward. So the ship is now departing Miami, Florida. We can see some really nice views, some clouds, some boats, and we can see there's lots of people in the pool. I unfortunately will not be joining them because of reasons. So yeah. So here on the main deck, you can see there isn't much people around. There are plenty of places to shop if you hate having money. I even purchased a little something for myself as well. You can see the Pearl over here. There are plenty of opportunities to take pictures, so don't worry if on one day it's super crowded. Now near Boleros, that's where you can purchase your $25 a day for internet. I personally went through this cruise without any internet whatsoever. $25 per day for internet is kind of steep, considering that there is a lot to do on the cruise. And you know what? It's good just to disconnect for a while. So I really don't think you need internet while you're on this cruise. I also want to make a note of guest services. So my family, they're actually super indecisive and they don't really know what they want to do. And they make changes to their plans all the time or make second guesses. Guest services has been really helpful in making those changes. So I was able to cancel and change plans without any issues. Overall, I experienced really good customer service. I even had an issue where I felt like I wasn't getting as much value from the private surfing lessons, and they were willing to refund me a portion of that, which I deemed fair, and they were very accommodating. So the customer service on this cruise was absolutely phenomenal. As for the upselling, there is a decent amount of it. It's just how it is. You will just have to accept it and just plan accordingly and budget around it. What I'm about to show you is one of the more extreme examples of upselling. This is actually quite insane to me. So if you want to rent one of these casitas, it can set you back pretty much half of the cost of the cruise if you can find it on a good deal. So, I mean, If you think it's worth it, by all means buy it, but I'm sure for the most of us, we will not be buying it. And yes, people do buy it. They do actually sell out on certain days. I know that people generally don't like the upselling that cruises do nowadays, but you can still have a great time even if you don't purchase any of the upsell features. Just know your budget, and if you really want to do it and you can afford it, just buy it. You know, you're gonna have a great time. Just enjoy yourself on the cruise, and it's okay to spend a little bit of money as long as you plan for it. And one of the best activities you can do on this cruise ship is just to walk around and take the stairs. Guys, sometimes the stairs are going to be faster than the elevators. And just to give that a little bit of extra incentives to take the stairs, there's some pretty interesting artwork around the stairs as well. So if you want to help keep the pounds off at least just a little bit, just walk around and take the stairs. I promise you, during peak hours, if you take the stairs, it is much faster. I am generally someone who likes to travel solo. So if you're a solo traveler wanting to go on this cruise ship, I actually would not really recommend it. It is always better to bring a person along with you because it really brings down the cost per person on a per room basis. But I also did find it a little bit more difficult to find friends on this cruise. I was still able to meet some people and make connections, but overall, I think cruises are not the best for solo travelers, mainly because of the cost, the peoples who are on board, as well as some of the activities that they do as well. As for a solo traveler, if you are willing to pay the price, I guess you could find some value in it, but that's definitely not me. There are a lot of activities on this cruise ship. You can definitely take this cruise probably up to 3 to 4 times in order to experience everything. Definitely, you're not going to be able to experience everything just within 1 week, so don't try to do that. Just take the time, relax, and just focus on that quality experience. You know, just give yourself some time, some wiggle room between events. Just enjoy yourself. And if you did have fun, just book another cruise in the future. Just a final note on price. On Icon of the Seas, it is a brand new ship, so you are going to pay that new ship premium. Royal Caribbean has an excellent selection of cruises you can choose from. It doesn't have to be Icon of the Sea. Symphony of the Seas has 2 surf simulators if that's what you really like doing. I personally really enjoy the surfing simulators. I pretty much went on the flow rider every single day. It was so much fun, but I was never able to get that blue wristband. So each cruise Royal Caribbean offers is a little bit different from each other, so you're not necessarily missing out by not going on the Icon of the Seas. Each cruise will be slightly different. So here I'm just showing you a little bit of the cruise during nighttime. If you ever visit the top of the deck during nighttime, it can get a little bit scary because when you stare out into the sea during nighttime, it's like just staring into the deep dark abyss. There's literally no light outside. But the lighting on this cruise ship is quite vibrant, so walking around Central Park is really nice. And as for the top deck of the cruise during nighttime, if you can stomach seeing into the deep dark abyss, I think it's a really fun experience as well. If you know that you're going to be late to an event, don't be afraid just to show up anyways to see if they're willing to accommodate you. Obviously, they're not always going to be able to do that. I actually signed up for some dodgeball. I love just smacking people in the face with a dodgeball, but unfortunately, I did arrive late and the teams were already made. And the cruise ship, they were not willing to accommodate me. I felt like they should have. I don't really think it makes that big of a difference, even if the teams were uneven. It's all just for fun anyways, right? So I did feel like that was a little bit of a customer service failure on their part, but then again, I wasn't really too mad on it because, I did show up late. So just keep your expectations in check and you're gonna have a great time. And with that, that just concludes the general commentary I have about the cruise ship. Now on to more specifics, and this is my favorite, which is going to be the food. Starting off with the drinks, I'm actually not that big of a drinker myself. I did not find any value from the drinks package, but if you do have a high alcohol tolerance, I guess the drink package can be worth it for you. And if you guys do want to share drinks, make sure you're booking on separate reservations and make sure you do it discreetly, so don't do it in front of the bartender or at a restaurant. Now, for the food that is included in the package, I did find that the quality and value that you get was actually very fair. It did come with a lot of high quality seafood, which does include scallops and octopus. Lobster is also included on certain days, and then of course you got your beef, your lamb, your chicken, everything you could possibly need. I didn't capture any footage of the main dining room, but the quality difference between the Windjammer and the main dining room is almost identical. The main dining room will just have a little bit fancier presentation, but you do want to visit the main dining room for its lobster night. As for the drinks, that is free. Water is obviously included, but you do get iced tea. I really did like the iced tea because it was not sweetened, and you also get milk and coffee as well. Now, if you want better coffee, you could get the drinks package with the coffee included, and then maybe just drink it halfway and then throw out the cup. I have seen some people do that. I do believe the Pro Cafe is open 24 hours. However, the food here isn't as good as you would find in the buffet or the main dining room. As for the desserts, I think the desserts served on this cruise was actually fairly decent. It wasn't as sweet as you would typically find with most American dessert, but it's still a little bit on the sweeter end. And of course, if it says sugar-free, they are using artificial sweeteners, so just keep that in mind. And there are multiple places that you can eat. There's a Mexican restaurant at the very top of the cruise ship, and then in the Aquadome, there's an Aquadome market where they serve some Chinese food. You can make some crepes and some Mediterranean food as well. Now, of course, this is a cruise ship, so they will try to upsell you. So there are several premium dining options available on this cruise ship. Whether they are worth it to you or not depends on what you value, how much you want to spend, and how much you can eat. But if you can eat a lot and you can save your appetite for these restaurants, I actually do think it might be worth 1 or 2 visits. A la carte premium dining options also exist if your appetite is not as strong as mine. So here I'm dining at Giovanni's. You do have to pay around $60 to get in, and I can say that the jump in quality was very significant. This pizza right here was very, very good. It was miles ahead of Sorrento's, and I ordered a veal shank with some saffron rice, and it was amazing. So at the premium dining options, you really are paying more for the effort and the flavor that went into your food rather than the mass-produced food served at the main dining hall or the Windjammer. Just remember that if you do choose to go for a premium dining option, you are forfeiting the free food that you would have otherwise gotten at the Windjammer or at the main dining hall. But the quality difference is there. Whether you want to pay for that quality difference is up to you. But personally, I did find value in these premium dining options. And on the final day of the cruise, I decided to dine at Azumi. Because I went with them on the final day, they also gave me a free sashimi platter with 3 pieces of sushi. I ordered some spicy tuna. And then lastly, I absolutely love ramen. This ramen was very good, but I just did feel like they were a little bit short on the toppings. But overall, the ramen was still very good. And then to finish off the cruise, I believe this matcha ice cream was the last thing I ate, and it was very good. I myself am not that much of a shopper, but on the Royal Caribbean, there's actually tons of shopping options. You can see this is one of the most expensive stores. This sells jewelry. In the Central Garden, there is a watch shop, and they have watches from various price ranges. Some of them can cost even upwards of $20,000. Or even higher if you think you didn't spend enough money on the cruise. And of course, you can always get some neat stuff from the gift shop if you want to bring home a little souvenir. I really do like the model ships. I will be purchasing one probably if I ever stay in a suite, but since I just stayed in a relatively standard room, I think I might go back for it at a later date, hopefully when I'm rich enough to afford the suites. And yes, you are paying that Royal Caribbean premium for the souvenirs, for the items at the gift shop. If you're planning on making any big purchases, I think now's a great time to share just a little bit of a story. If you're putting any large transaction on a credit card and it's from overseas in a foreign currency, make sure you declare it at customs if it's over your limit or the limit of your respective country. Because if it's on a credit card and it's for a large amount, you bet your ass the banks will report that to the government. And if you fail to report that at customs, well, guess what? You're gonna get that fine, and you get the benefit of the government constantly monitoring your finances for the foreseeable future. As for the souvenir I decided to buy for myself, I decided to go with a blue lanyard with the Royal Caribbean logo. There was also one with the Icon of the Seas logo, but I like this one a little bit more, and it cost me $13 US. For the activities that you can do on the ship, one of which that I did was skating on ice, and this was actually the first time I skated on ice. The rink was kind of a bit small, and you are competing with a lot of people for space on the ice, so it's probably not the best ice skating experience in my opinion. But if you've never really done it before, you know, I mean, it's free, you might as well. The next stop is the arcade. I would really wish if a cruise ship can include a free arcade, but all of this does come at an extra charge. And if you want to, spend a little bit of money trying to win some prizes, this is a great place to do that. Some traditional games, but I would really like to see a free arcade one day. My favorite activity on this cruise was by far the Flow Rider Surf Simulator. As someone who never surfed before, I felt like this was an amazing experience, and it's a great way to learn on how to surf if you have never done so. It's much safer than doing it in the open ocean. The only problem I have with this activity was this stupid rule where people with white wristbands can only try it twice per day, while people with blue wristbands, which are basically proven surfers, can have unlimited tries. So one clever method I found to extend the amount of tries as someone with only a white wristband is basically just go back once the employees have their scheduled shift changes, because the ones working during the morning are not the same as the ones working during the evening. So that's a great way to extend the amount of tries that you get per day. Also do offer lessons, but they are very pricey. If you're someone who likes to spend time at the casino, I did hear if you spend a certain amount of volume, Royal Caribbean might even give you a free cruise at the end of your current cruise if you spend enough money at the casino, and you don't necessarily have to lose that money either. But just be careful at the casino because the odds are against you. There are a variety of shows you can experience on the cruise, anywhere from acrobatics to plays to comedy, singing. I did notice that for some of the shows, especially with the play, there has been just a minor issue, but it has been a very noticeable one. If you want something a little bit more active, there are sporting events around the ship. If you get first place, they'll give you a medal. I think you need to be, well, I think top 3 you get a medal. I was able to get a gold medal in one of the events. You will be playing against other people on the ship. I just wish that these sporting events were a little bit more common than these shows. There's also some alcohol or wine tasting if you like doing that. But by far my favorite event, or the event that was the most notable to me, was the art show, because you actually do receive some free champagne or some mimosas if you attend this event, even if you're just here to watch. So they'll invite you in, they'll give you some free alcohol, a little bit better pastries in my opinion, and you can just watch the auctioneer do his work. The art auction was very entertaining. Of course, I'm not gonna buy anything. I can't really afford anything that they have shown here, but I did really appreciate the free alcohol, the pastries. And overall, it was a very entertaining show to watch. So don't be afraid just to show up, even if you don't plan on buying anything. But be careful, because if you do have the money, you might end up buying something. As for the excursions, this is your mileage may vary depending on what you booked. I did book the scuba diving event, but unfortunately it was canceled due to bad weather. I really also wanted to explore I-95, the internals of the cruise ship, but that was fully booked. Therefore, I didn't really have much of an excursion experience. So this has been my review of Icon of the Seas. I say the experience was overall very positive, and I do hope to make more cruise review videos in the future. Hopefully I'll get better footage. I just recently got my new camera and still getting over that awkward phase of trying to record. It takes a little while. And I would really appreciate it if you can take the time to subscribe to my channel.